It has been an insane, bizarre, crazy weekend in college football. Some good things and also some controversy as well, which I don't blame many people for feeling that way. I certainly disagree with, but we're gonna get into a few. But Avery, Alabama strike once again in the SEC game against Georgia. 4-0 now. 4-0. Yes, we knew Bowers was not going to be 100%. He didn't even look like 100% with his ankle hurting him. But Alabama, they show no mercy. Um, their defense, I feel like their defense won this game. I will say if there was an extra quarter, we would have had a different conversation because Georgia put up 14 points in that fourth quarter. But this was Alabama's defense. They slowed down Georgia's running game and they neutralized Bowers. Alabama is a team, they don't fear no one. Nick Saban came very prepared for this game, and he prepared his players very well for this game. Alabama, now they've won 11 in a row, and they got to kiss the committee's feet for being the fourth team to enter the college playoff football. I can't even say that with a straight face, but go ahead, Avery.
Actually, you're right. This is probably one of the best SEC championship games, probably within the last 10 years. You're right. Coach Saban, he prepared his players, he invigorated his players. He told his players, as long as you put in the work, if you do the job, you will get results. They had it at the first half. They were leading 17-7, but you're right. If there was an extra quarter or even an overtime, we could be looking at a different story than the chaos that ensued after Alabama's win. But like we said, Miguel, defense was probably going to be a part, and all it took was one turnover, one mistake by Georgia, and Alabama's defense, they took it, the offense capitalized on it, and all in all, it was a great game. And like I said, even though I thought Georgia had all the all the pieces of their puzzle to make it, I am in fact glad I was mistaken. But that was an absolutely fantastic game. And like you alluded to, Alabama's win caused some uproar, a big of uproar.
There was a part of me that thought they were going to get left out. I personally, I mean, because it's only four teams, I really didn't want Alabama nor Georgia to be left out, but only four teams can get in. But thankfully, in the future, we're going to see eight teams get in. So that's the upside about all of this. But man, you just got to feel for Florida State. You got to feel for Florida State. And because of one quarterback, because of that injury, it became the microcosm of the committee's decision to go with Alabama over Florida State. But also, I feel that because of Alabama's track record, they figure they could match well with Michigan. So now we will have Alabama and Michigan go at it. And but like we said last year, Avery, and I'm gonna say, and we're gonna say it again this year. And this is gonna be on my bucket list in the future. But I have to go to a Rose Bowl someday. I have to. I have to. It's a prestigious event. I have to go there someday. I don't know when. I gotta have the funds for it, and I will have the funds for it. But hopefully, you know, with health and God bless us. Hopefully, you and I, sometime in the future, it could be the same year or in a different year, separate, whatever. The Rose Bowl, it has to be there on the bucket list. It has to. I have to go there someday.
I agree with you, Miguel. The Rose Bowl is, to take a page out of many a commentators' uh, uh, quotes, the granddaddy of them all, the prestige of the parade, the prestige. It's playing in the Los Angeles Coliseum. Over 100,000 people can fit in that stadium and play. And you're right. If all works well, if our health is to our benefit, if God blesses us, hopefully we will be able to see not only that wonderful stadium, but also to sit and watch teams play in the Rose Bowl. And I think you're right. I think with the track record with Alabama, once they beat Georgia and they being the SEC championship, it was kind of a toss-up because even Coach Nick Saban said, if you leave out an SEC team in the playoff, how is that going to reflect on you? The committee was in a lose-lose situation, if you will. And after hearing a lot of the uproar, even Booger McFarland from ESPN, he probably said it best. You know, why would you snub an undefeated team and they also won their title game? But after thinking about it, I didn't want to listen too much of the noise, but even you're correct. I was actually shocked that Florida State at least couldn't sneak in there. If anything, Florida State winning their ACC championship game, Washington winning their Pac-12, Texas winning their Big 12 championship along with Michigan, I felt Florida could sneak in there as a 3 or 4 to possibly play Michigan and then or be a 2 or be a 3 and play Washington. However, but you're correct. And believe it or not, after thinking about it, Florida State might have TCU to blame. As weird as it is, we said this last year. We do want some new blood, and we are getting it. We're getting Texas, we're getting Washington, and I hope their game is fabulous as the Georgia-Ohio State game was. So, you know, we may want to look to last year and see what happened. Could it be the possibility of their quarterback playing issue? Maybe. But if that was, then why would you deter a team that is undefeated not play in a playoff? But like you said, now we're going to an 8-game playoff. We're going to see what more teams can do. But I will say this to any Seminole fans. You're playing in the Orange Bowl and you're playing against Georgia. So I would say all the Florida State fans come down to my neck of the woods in Miami Gardens. You just blanket that place in maroon and gold instead of the orange and green of the Miami Hurricanes, and you kind of treat your Orange Bowl game as a bit of a impromptu national championship game. And for any Seminole fans, hey, coat it in maroon and gold. Because even I will agree, you deserve to be there. You deserve to be there. But it's a weird, interesting microcosm of things that occurred. But we have our teams, and like we said, we don't want blowouts. We want some really great games. And I think we're going to get some really great games.
Yes, the Orange Bowl is another one that I must attend in the future. The Orange Bowl, and I'll call this the statement game. Florida State, you got to call this the statement game because you're very angry. There's so many words to describe how Florida State players, that entire program, the fans, but there's just so many words that I can't even describe how they're feeling at this moment. But you said it best. Orange Bowl against Georgia, a team that won 29 in a row. So if you're gonna make a statement, what better way than do it than Georgia Bulldogs? So I'll be tuning in for that game, just like the Rose Bowl. It is a fun time, Avery. Fun time. I'm excited. I'm excited. But like I said, I'm not gonna rest until I experience the Rose Bowl and the Orange Bowl, but the Rose Bowl obviously number one on the list.
You're right. Believe it or not, the Orange Bowl, or which is now Hard Rock Stadium down in Miami Gardens, it's a wonderful place. I had a chance to see a football game, a National League football game there the Miami Dolphins and the Philadelphia Eagles actually a couple years ago. It's a good experience. But you're right, Seminole fans, later this month, treat this as your impromptu national championship game, as you will. Forgive me for being a Alabama fan. For those Florida State fans watching, forgive me. I was rooting for you. I was rooting for you. Even the Florida State athletic director was distraught and dismayed, and with the fact that you are leaving out an undefeated team. But like you say, even if the moments don't come to you, you take your moments and you make them meaningful. So Florida State, you have your shot. The end of December, the day before New Year's Eve, make your shot. Take your shot. Alabama broke a 29-game winning streak. How about the Florida State Seminoles have Georgia lose 2 in a row?
So my Florida State Seminole fans, I am a Miami Hurricane fan, but I feel for you guys, and I'm not being sarcastic about this. I feel for you guys because you guys have been playing your butts off all season long, undefeated season, won the ACC title. Best of luck in that Georgia game. And speaking of the Hard Rock Stadium, Miami is my favorite city. So I've been to the Miami. I've seen the Miami Heat play. I've seen the Miami Marlins play. I still need to see the Dolphins play. So I gotta go to Miami into the Hard Rock Stadium someday, catch a Dolphin game or a Hurricane game there, probably both. But it's funny. And speaking of Miami, I've been watching. I just finished a Football Life documentary on Dan Marino. Man, that's the one quarterback that I wish he could have won a Super Bowl. But I hated the way he ended his career, getting blown out 62-7 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But what a magnificent quarterback he was from Miami. And but yeah, like I said, this is a great time. This is a great time, Avery, for college football.
You're right. You're right, Miguel. As heading into bowl season, we're going to see a lot of great college teams play. Hopefully, just as this season, a lot of great bowl games, some to put on your list as a game of the year or potential top 3, or just, rooting for a team to do well. And over the next few weeks, we're going to see these teams who've played very well this season showcase what they can do for their school, for their coaches, for themselves, not only leading up to these bowl games, but also eventually national title games as well.